Hello, Recapped Mystery here. Today, I'm going to explain a drama, war movie called Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Watch out and take care. The film begins in Berlin, where an 8-year-old boy named Bruno is running around with his friends on his way home. It is World War II, and the Jewish people are being denied their rights. Bruno returns to his home and finds it being decorated and cleaned. He asks his mother Elsa about it, and she replies that the family is hosting a party that night for their father's promotion as a Nazi officer. Ralph informs his children that they are leaving Berlin and heading towards the countryside because he has been appointed as the commanding officer of a concentration camp. Hearing this, Bruno becomes very sad because he will have to leave his childhood friends, but he assures them that he will be able to make new friends in the new place. In the following scene, Bruno and his family arrive in their new home in occupied Poland. It is a 2-story house with a garden surrounded by high walls. While peering through the window of his new room, Bruno notices some houses far away and assumes that the houses belong to farmers and that children are playing there. He then tells his mother about the farmers who wear striped pajamas, things he considers weird. Meanwhile, an elderly man enters the kitchen and brings fresh vegetables for the day. As the man enters to place the vegetables on the counter, Bruno notices that he is wearing the same striped pajamas he saw before. Elsa looks to the man's ankles as he leaves and discovers the truth. In the following scene, we see Bruno inside his father Ralph's office, interrogating him about the farmers wearing pajamas. Ralph informs him that the people wearing striped pajamas are not people at all, while Elsa discovers that the farm Bruno is referring to is actually a Jewish concentration camp. Elsa, enraged, storms into Ralph's office and confronts him about the camp, yet they continue to let Bruno believe that this is a farm where farmers wear striped pajamas. They also prohibit Bruno from making friends or playing there. For obvious reasons, the window through which Bruno could view the camp is also blocked. Many days pass and Bruno is playing alone in his new house. He is lonely and without companions. One day, while playing in the front garden, he sees a small door that goes to the house's rear. He tries to slip inside and explore but is caught by Elsa, who calls him inside. During dinner, Ralph informs him that he has arranged a tutor for Bruno and his sister Gretel. Bruno appears excited about the fact that he does not have to go to school because the school is coming to him. In the next scene, while Bruno is playing on a swing, when he spots some smoke in the sky, he tries to stand and seek for the source of the smoke, but he falls from the swing and is injured. The elderly man takes him up and gives him first aid. Bruno is skeptical about the bandaging and believes he should see a doctor, but the old man assures him that he is fine and mentions that he used to be a doctor himself. The old man introduces himself as Pavel, and Bruno is surprised that a doctor is peeling potatoes in his house. Soon after, Elsa arrives and sees Pavel tending to the injured Bruno. She appears perplexed but thanks Pavel for his efforts. In the following scene, Bruno is looking through his sister's window and notices an old man riding a bicycle whom he assumes to be their new teacher. Bruno is correct, and the teacher begins to teach them about the Nazi regime and its history. Bruno, who wants to read adventure books, instead receives a large bulky history book. He walks through the window and into the wide forest to explore, not knowing where the trail will take him. Bruno follows the trail and arrives at what he believes to be the farm. The camp is surrounded by barbed wire fences, and everyone inside is dressed in similar striped pajamas with a number on them. On the other side, Bruno notices a boy his age sitting alone, and he notices a huge contrast between the parents of the boys and the surroundings they are living in despite both of them being the same age. Bruno introduces himself and learns that the other boy's name is Shmuel. Shmuel tells him that he is hungry and asks if Bruno has brought anything to eat. Bruno has empty pockets but quietly decides that he will bring something for him the next time he notices the numbers on his clothes. Shmuel replies that the number has nothing to do with any games and returns to the camp as soon as a guard begins whistling. Bruno returns home and begins tutoring with his new tutor. The next day, Bruno arrives at the camp with a chocolate bar for Shmuel, but this time Shmuel does not appear. Bruno pays several visits to Shmuel, often bringing food with him. Finally, Bruno learns that Shmuel is a Jew who was brought to the camp with his parents, saying he doesn't know and that he is not permitted to be near Bruno. then returns to his home promising to meet Shmuel shortly after. Ralph responds that the smoke is caused by burnt rubbish in the chimneys. Elsa pays a visit after some time has passed Gretel's chamber and is concerned about what their tutor is teaching them as she teaches them, finds a number of Nazi war posters on her. The teacher may be seen teaching against the wall, the children's perceptions of Jews, that they are the major villains, cause of the country's demise. Bruno, on the other hand, is thinking of Shmuel, retaliates by claiming that not all Jews are alike, are evil. Following the class he chooses to take, visit Shmuel and don't forget to bring some. He skillfully steps out of food for his residence and arrives at the tent he provides, the dinner he delivered to Shmuel, and observes him as he quickly completes it, following Bruno's football throw inside, although his camp to play with Shmuel. Shmuel, terrified, throws it back, hides between the pillars and informs Bruno that it will be difficult if someone notices them together when Elsa is away, also bothered by the bad odor coming from the lieutenant collar of the chimney, informs her that the smoke emanating from the camp is produced by the burning of Jewish people. Elsa is horrified when she hears this. Ralph is instantly confronted. Ralph informs her that he has been. Elsa is promoted to execute Jews, but, shocked to see what her spouse has done, Pavel made a mistake at the dinner table. While serving Kotler, spills the wine, he brutally beats her. Bruce is disturbed by this and begins crying. His sister wonders if his father is. One day, you'll be a wonderful person. Bruno notices something while wandering around the house. Shmuel inside one of the cleaning rooms. He is pleased to see him with the wine glasses and attractive some food. Shmuel accepts the food and begins to eat, but not before completed. Kotler arrives and charges him with taking food, yells angrily at Shmuel, who responds that he did not steal the food and Bruno, his friend, delivered it to him. Kotler then turns to confront Bruno. He is scared that Bruno may deceive him, informing him, because he is unfamiliar with Shmuel. Hearing him for the first time, this Kotler suspects Shmuel of stealing, and requested that he see him after work. Bruno feels bad inside his room. He immediately puts Shmuel in risk by putting him in jeopardy, rushes to the camp but is unable to locate Shmuel. Dejected, returns only to see several army soldiers when he returned home. Ralph greets visitors to his home. They leave them and go to a room to rest. Take a look at the documentary film about Bruno's life at a concentration camp. In addition, covertly watches the documentary, and observes how the youngsters and the family are having fun. This is how they spend their time indoors, a fabricated documentary fed to the outside world in order to conceal the atrocities of Bruno, the Nazi who is still too young to comprehend everything. He hugs his father, thinking of him as a result of the documentary. A decent dude. Bruno then proceeds to the camp to meet Shmuel. When he arrives, he realizes that Shmuel has a right hand injury as a result of the caller's punishment. Bruno expresses regret for his error and Shmuel makes amends. Shmuel forgives. He and Bruno Elsa shake hands. On the other hand, has a significant impact. Her husband's harsh personality. She is also concerned about the future of her children. Roth, who lives near the concentration camp and witnesses all of this, decides to send he informs Bruno that his children have returned to Berlin. About his return, but he refuses to leave. Ralph informs him that they are about to leave with his mother. Dazed, Bruno becomes depressed and rushes to Shmuel to inform him that he is leaving. Shmuel does not answer, because he is already depressed over the fact that, because his father went missing the day before, Bruno decided to assist Shmuel in finding his father. He realizes that he may dig a trench before going for Berlin, to get through the wires, make a hole with a stick. Bruno inquired before returning home Shmuel to get him a striped suit, that he could assist in locating his father. The following day, Bruno prepares the final little meal and is ready to visit. He lies to Elsa about his intentions, play one last time on the swing. Elsa concurs before departing for Berlin, to allow him to play outside, believing that he will finally be able to escape the evil place. Meanwhile, Shmuel has brought a pair of pajamas for Bruno, which he puts on and starts digging under the wire. After some time, Bruno manages to crawl inside and they run towards the camp to search for Shmuel's father elsewhere. Elsa notices that Bruno is nowhere near the swing and begins searching for him. She nervously looks everywhere in the house but fails to find him. Shortly after she notices the door to the backyard open, she discovers that Bruno has leapt through the shed window when she observes a sandwich dropped exactly below the aperture. Following that, a hasty search is ordered, and with the assistance of sniffer dogs and other army personnel, they begin their journey through the forest to the camp. Soon after, Bruno and Shmuel enter a cave and begin searching for his missing father. At the same time, a group of soldiers arrives and orders everyone inside the hut to leave. The two children are trapped between the group of men and are forced to proceed in the direction of the group, because everyone can tell that Bruno is not a Jew because he is wearing the same striped garment. The detainees are escorted to a changing room and forced to remove their clothes for a shower. Meanwhile, Ralph discovers Bruno's garments just outside the fence and realizes that his son has entered the camp. He rushes inside and tells his officers to search for Bruno. Elsa grabs Bruno's clothes and begins screaming, shouting his name. Meanwhile, Bruno and Shmuel are dragged into a gas chamber, completely unaware of what is going on until a Nazi soldier pours lethal gas inside while other Jews panic. Bruno and Shmuel are holding hands, because they have no idea what would happen after not finding Bruno in any hut. Ralph realizes that a mass execution is taking place and calls out his son's name at the gate. Ralph's cries are heard by Elsa and Gretel. Elsa falls to her knees in grief as the gas chamber turns silent, suggesting that all of the captives, including Bruno and Shmuel, have died. Please subscribe to assist the channel, turn on notification and leave a like. Thank you for taking the time to watch. See you again soon.